Shamps and giggles. History, news, views, and reviews from Shamps and Giggles back for 2024.
Here we are. Welcome, one and all, to another phenomenal evening with Shamps and Giggles. Full crew is in the building. Colour Queen Debo, Nisha Debo, Dion Debo, touching there. Oh, she got a little booking next to me. How you figure them things out? Oh, Kaka is in the building. Sophia there. Do you know what? Did I miss any names? Mandy Debo and George. Lord of his mercy, talk the things. You know, this was devastating news. I just heard you talking about it, Kim. Sorry to have to make you repeat, but talk the things. What? Tell me
Yeah, so that's one of the subjects that I brought because it needed mentioning from condolences from our own selves and for the banter group. Shakira Spencer, very sad case.
Spencer.
Yeah, so that was the lady that they sentenced the people today. Is that the one you're talking about?
It might be somebody else. Who's Shakira Spencer?
Is that the one you're talking about?
Well, not me, but I'm going to listen to the one you're talking about. Okay,
sorry about that because there was quite a few subjects I was mentioning in banter, but this one was on the news today. A 35-year-old lady.
Shakira Thompson, you mean?
Shakira Spencer, in my 35, was enslaved and beaten for months.
Yeah, we're talking
what
about
have you got, Thompson? You got Thompson?
I typed it as Thompson.
Okay, it's a Spencer.
But it is Shakira Spencer,
yes. So so today they've only now sentenced them for what the torture and the pain that they put this poor lady through, being so young. She was healthy, but obviously she must have had some mental health issues, and they took advantage of it, and they really took advantage of it by taking over the house and feeding her ketchup sachets and beating her and scolding her feet and so on. It went on and on and on, and the judge was so upset. Look how pretty. Yes, exactly.
Look at this guy. Look ahead of here. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and then if I don't know if there's another photo from then to now, and you see the pain and the trauma that they put her through. So the picture that is that what she ended up looking like? Nothing like the lady. Nothing like it. Nothing like her.
It's just too sad. It truly horrific. Crackheads, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call it what it is.
Yeah, what it is. Yeah.
Crackheads. Crack. And they're abundant. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even realize. Until you realize, you wouldn't realize. You understand what I'm saying? Until you realize, you wouldn't even realize what the But absolute crackhead. This is another. Here she's. I mean, this is. I don't know what point in time this was, but vibrant young lady. This is 11th December 2023. It says there's two, but I don't see.
Yeah, but that's probably they took that image of somebody from somebody else. But but there's another image of what she looked like in 22. So I think they just posted that picture at that particular time in 23.
The level.
Yeah.
When you see this picture, the level. Crackheads, look on it. This is what she looked like.
Yes, correct. Yeah. That's what she ended up from the first picture you shown. I know that our listeners can't see it, but they can look her up and they've probably seen it on the news.
Yep. 2022 was said to have become gaunt and skeletal in the months before her death. I mean, this is like, damn. But crackheads. How do we know it's crackheads?
The only way you're going to know is if you, they did have a photo of the three
I
perpetrators.
think that they don't mention enough about the problem with crackheads on the streets right now. You know, it's a menace to society, but enough is not being said about it. Here was a crackhead situation. How do we know? Because in the commentary here, the mother of two, she's got children, had been isolated. So where were the kids during this time?
Oh, they were big kids. They're big. They were old. They were strapping people at that time. I think.
Well, she's only 35. How strapping can these kids be? If she had them at
well,
16,
she had a big, yeah.
Yeah, the oldest would have to be at least 50, 20 at most.
If she had them at 16, so you know.
Yeah.
So all this going on, where were the kids? How come she was left? Which she was left in this situation. Where was the family? Okay. The defendants have over many months taken away. It says it there. Taken away everything Shakira loved. She was isolated from her family and friends. Her health deteriorated. She was almost, how's she isolated? How does all this, is crackheads, crack cocaine do that to you? And look, when it says here, the sadistic campaign, inflicting pleasure and pain on a suffering woman, there was violence, and she was enslaved into, he said something about sex trafficking, sex work, or whatever. Sex work, yeah. The mother had been isolated and forced into sex work in a month. That's crackhead activity. But they're not mentioning the drugs in here. Oh, you know, they're not mentioning that. It's fun of lies and all the rest of it. I don't see them mention the drugs. But crackheads, and let me show you again. Look. Where's that?
Yeah.
The Metropolitan, was it in here?
Yeah, it was. That's her.
Look upon them, they're crackheads.
And that's them,
look
yeah,
them.
the three of them. Yeah, that's them.
Crackheads, look. Them is crackheads.
Yeah.
Them is crackheads. Two women, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a man.
And a man. Two black people and a man. Unbelievable. And the strangest thing while you're saying that, I know people got their hands up, so
race didn't really have a bearing here. These were crackheads. It's a white woman, black woman, black man. It's not races. They destroyed a black woman. It's not like because you're black we're doing this to you. Because you're a crackhead, and we're crackheads too. And I don't know, but I don't think to me that they're not telling the full story. They're not telling the full story. This is, how can you be enslaved for months and you have children that are of age? You have a family. You're not alone in the world. How? Leisha, your hand is up. Come in, talk the things. This is, you know.
Sorry, I was going to say that it seems like she was held by three very sick people. They probably were on drugs. We don't know which ones, but it whatever they were doing, they probably it's really sad. Do you know there's a video as well? I'm sorry, there's a video on the independent.co.uk of him being taken in by the police. One of the suspects being taken in by the police. But it's really sad, really, really sad. We don't know how old their children are at all. And we don't know whether the children were taken into care or what happened. But she died horribly. It's horrible.
Sad, extremely sad. Color Queen, your hand is up.
Yeah, what is really horrific and tumultuous about this whole story is the suffering and the pain and the anguish that she clearly experienced, and whether she started off having mental health because of the ill treatment, the possible gaslighting and the abuse, she would have developed it anyway. So what they've done is that they've found a chink in her armor and gone in and probably befriended her. And sometimes if we're having an acrimonious relationship with maybe our relatives, people can kind of see a weak area or a weak link, and then they can home in on you and then pretend that, you know, we care about you, your parents or your family don't care about you. And this is how a lot of women or a lot of people get embroiled in the wrong people, because people can, you know, perpetrators can sniff desperation. They can pick up on somebody who's vulnerable. So it was clear that she was vulnerable initially to even get them to be in her house. And once they were in her home, they just didn't leave. And then they isolated her, because then there was no social services, doctor. She obviously hadn't been to the doctor for a while, hadn't been to the dentist for a while, wasn't holding down a job. So it's almost as though she just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth, and nobody was able to track her down. And these people had her hidden, brainwashing her, and all of this thing. And if you're told enough times that you're stupid or you're sick or you're worth nothing, people start believing it. And this is what's happened. They were able to manipulate her, narcissistically abuse her, and their whole purpose and aim was to gain control, maybe to get her money, if she, whatever money she did have, benefit or otherwise, because she obviously wasn't working. But the whole thing was to gain control, and they might well be on drugs, and they may have hooked her on drugs at some point as well. We, as you said, Jay, we don't know the whole story, but she's just been a victim of these awful circumstances, and nobody in this 21st century should be dying like this. It's so sad. The kids have lost their mom. She had all her life ahead of her, beautiful. But sometimes it's one in judgment. We just stop to talk to the wrong person. And next thing you know, it's like a pebble in the water. It's a ricochet. And, you know, it just can just go south. It's really, really painful to hear it. Awful.
It's awful, but the truth of the matter is, this is not a nice place. These things are happening. It's just not being reported. It's not being reported. These things are happening around us. You're just not, you're so unaware of it because you're not in it. Because you're not in it. When you're in this situation and you get remember I met with that drug counselor, dare I say it, from the borough. And when my girl was telling me what's going on in this area, Acton, Ealing, Shepherd's Bush, all this area, London. See, when you hear about them stabbings and them there over foolishness, drugs, crackheads. They're at it. They you know, the little girl, oh, the crack dealers, something like £30. The man them throw acid in her face. Kind of madness. Them man, the level is so high, you just can't believe it. When I was being informed of these here, I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, so when I see these things now, I recognize it straight away. Crackheads. They moved in for 6 months. Where was they living there? They didn't have a house. Them at Pond Street, her yard became the crack den. That's what happened. Her yard became the crack den. That's where they would all congregate. At her yard. They just moved in. That's what happened. And yeah, she's a crackhead too, so they're all working together. I mean, for the drugs. But she's the one that's getting abused. Unbelievable. But yeah, it's happening so much. It's not reported on. So yeah, you find that and you think, oh my God. It's so sad. The picking them that get stabbed up in school, drugs. Apparently these drug dealers come along and they infiltrate the schools. They get the kids while they're at school. Parents, beware. Have that conversation with your children. Because them, man, they come and they get them at the little parties, them. They try a little bit. And next time they try a little bit more. Then before they even realize it, they're hooked. They're hooked. 1 second. Spice, you're up next. But let me just play this little something, yeah, so. Because them have a little part of things. It's only a minute long. By the way, the following footage contains material some viewers may find distressing. as does this whole conversation. 3 jailed for the murder of woman they treated like a slave. Oh, yeah. She was a vulnerable woman, tortured, starved, and battered to death.
Leaving Shakira in that cupboard was barbaric. Given the orgy of violence, I am in no doubt that you all intended to kill Shakira Spencer. I am also sure, on all the evidence, including that given by you, Pendlebury, and you, Richardson, that this was a sadistic killing in which you all took pleasure in inflicting pain, suffering, and humiliation on a vulnerable woman.
She was always thoughtful and wanted to be liked. Her eagerness to please people made her vulnerable. We have struggled as a family to come to terms with the fact that Shakira was controlled, enslaved, and tortured by the defendants in the months leading up to her murder.
Truth be told, people aren't equipped to deal with this cocaine pandemic. It's really bad. Spice, your hand is up. Come in, talk to things.
Yeah, I work in housing as Sophia mentioned in the group. It's called cuckooing. There's a big piece on it because we have to now cuckooing. So with cuckoos, basically what they do, they take over other person's nests. So it's like people going in, taking over someone's home and looking to sell drugs from there, turning it into drug dens, like you say. It's a big thing at the moment. So as Colour Queen was saying, you know, this lady was obviously estranged from her family or whatever the case may be, because the thing is, if you're missing from your family that long, you're wondering where the family are. Why aren't they looking for you? Why aren't they checking in on you? So it's clearly that she was at a vulnerable time of her life. Maybe the 2 women went in there, groomed her, befriended her, and then obviously they made a racket out of her home. It's you know, that's the impression that I get from this. But as I said, yeah, cuckooing, it's a big thing now at the moment. So I work in housing, so we have to do a lot more well-being checks. So if we can't get hold of tenants in their home, we have to like go and knock the door, do a well-being check, see if they are, just have a quick look around the property just to make sure it safeguards tenants. So yeah.
Do you know what? First I've heard of that term, by the way, cuckooing, and it makes altogether sense. It makes altogether, because they're crackers. They ain't got nowhere to live. So if they get somebody hooked, then that becomes a new love nest. We can live there, right? That's where we can go into shelter from the cold. Because freezing outside, we ain't got to find somewhere to go. Unbelievable. Colour Queen, come in, talk to things.
Yeah, I just wanted to pick up on the situation with the drugs in school, you know, parallel to vulnerability. And what they do, the dealers, is that 9 out of 10 times, they can spot whether a child, a boy child in particular, has a male figure at home. And what I did with my last son in particular is that when we used to go on holiday, because I took him all around the country, and I would literally give him like a £50 note to go into the arcade, so that no drugs man could entice him with £50 to do a drugs run. So he knew the value of money. So by an example, I'd say to him, right, this is your £50 for the week, so you need to change it up, spend a little bit in the arcade, buy yourself a little shirt for us to wear to dinner in the evening from Primark. Because what's essential here for children is that children know the price of everything and value for nothing. So we have to train them, we have to talk to them, and let them understand, because when they see other kids in £600 Pradas, they also want that. So we have to teach our children's eye to be simple and to work hard for you know, what they want in the future. So my son can afford to wear those now because he buys them for himself, but I would have never given him the taste for Pradas at such a young age when I can't afford to maintain that. Right. But that's what the drug dealers do. They look and they can tell whether a child is a little bit vulnerable, maybe hanging outside the chicken shop, not going straight home, possibly a latchkey kid, because a lot of mums have to go to work. You know, they have to go to work. This is the thing. It's not like, oh, they want their child to be pushing the key and coming in and warming something up in the microwave. So when you are estranged from, you don't have a daddy as a young person, or I've fallen out with my mum and my dad, and my brothers may have taken my parents' side or whatever, I'm now living in this house on my own, and it just takes one man to sweet talk me. Oh, you know, you're so lovely. Oh, blah, blah. Take me out for a few meals, introduce me to something. Then a friend comes over. I think he's my boyfriend, but really, he's not really my boyfriend. And exactly what Spy says, that's how the story begins, and it then just envelopes. And this is what happened. It's being vulnerable and not having our friends and family around. Knit situation. That's how they weed us out, because we're vulnerable. And you know what? You'd be vulnerable.
They find, and the thing about it, with this crack situation, cocaine, drug situation, because obviously, what do you do as a parent? Your child's bringing drugs into the house. They're coming in high as a kite. They're not listening to you. So what do you do as a parent? Well, if you're not listening to me and find my rule in my yard, you can't do what? You can't come out. And it's literally going out of the frying pan. And where did they end up? Literally in the fire. And they get just absorbed into this mad world, because obviously they're on drugs now. They're high as a kite. Now they got to survive. They got the drugs dealer saying, well, if you do this little run, I can give you this little money. If you do this little thing, I can give you this little thing. So they're now just survival, and the freaking dealer is the one that's enabling their survival at cost. Cost. Look, this woman, it literally cost her life. And it's going on around us. It's underreported. They're not telling you the full story half the time. And so people are very much unaware. Here's when this young man is arrested. I don't know if he speaks, but let's have a listen.
Here's what I've got to say. This is very important to you. Okay? So you've been arrested on suspicion of the murder of Shakira Spencer at 9 Lambeth House, okay? Between the 31st of the 8th and the 26th of the 9th. In relation to that, you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned, something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. The necessity for your arrest is to prevent your disappearance, for a prompt and effective investigation, and for the prevention of harm. Okay?
Yeah, but I've never been cooperating or anything with you, so I don't know why you're saying.
You're under caution at the moment. My advice would be wait until you've had the opportunity to have legal advice before you make any further comment in relation to the allegations against you. Okay?
There you are. Yeah. You're one of them. In Ealing, you know. It's in the manor. Leisha and his up start the things.
That was a film where he was taken on the 22nd of September 2022.
That's
wow.
right. Yeah.
That's how long it's taken.
Yeah. The whole
year, that'd be like 15 months, 16 months.
Put the case together.
Justice is a slow burner. It's a slow burner. It's a slow, the thing about that's a problem with it. You almost forget. What about remember the stabbing that took place again in Ealing? Oh, on skirts. Right?
Yeah.
That took, it was more than a year, wasn't it, Keith?
More than a year, yeah, more than a year.
Yeah, same thing. And we spoke about it when it happened.
We did. And the family came on and spoke about it, yeah.
Right?
And the family came on and spoke. Yeah.
But do you think that's down to skin tone?
Pardon?
Do you think that's down to skin tone?
What do you mean?
Oh, right. Oh, the length of time they take.
Oh, compared to Sarah Everard.
Yeah.
Within a year, Sarah Everard, the whole case was brought to compensation was paid out. I mean, everything happened in that.
Yeah. The only comfort the family had was hearing what the judge had to say when she gave sentencing. The nephew came on and said that they're the scum of the earth. He hopes that they rot and so on. But the judge did make it clear that each of them got 34 years in prison. And she also and I think the sentencing that she gave is a rare sentence. You don't often get, you're going to prison for 34 years before anything could happen. The judge gave them, it's a rare sentence she gave them, because she could have said 34 years, but it's not. They got a whole life sentence. I think they class it. Yeah, so that's correct. So they're never going to come out, because every time they go in front of somebody, they ain't coming out, because they'll say, nope, not rehabilitated. Nope. Yeah.
You know, the
yes,
thing
true,
about
Amanda. It could be a statement. Yeah.
these
Amanda.
crackheads, they have no life anyway.
Mm.
So when you sentence them to going in jail for however long you send them in there, and as I understand, I know drugs proliferate in jails anyway. But when you send them in jail, you know what you've done for them, because these are proper fools. I mean, proper. They're crackheads. They have nothing. Remember, they're shocking up in this woman's house because they had nowhere to live. The judge just guaranteed them 34 years of shelter. They never had that before. It sounds ridiculous, but for them, that's a bonus. Now I don't need to worry about where I'm going to sleep if it's cold. I don't need to worry about that. Oh, I don't need to worry about money. What I need money for? I'm going to get fed. Got no bills, right? I'm going to have a routine now. I'm going to wake up at a certain time, going to go to sleep at a certain time, get fed through the day, and have people to talk to. I mean, I don't believe that the government have put enough thought into what's going on with cocaine addiction in this country. There's no communication, no conversation. So everybody is just lambs to the slaughter. All of them. The people that, like the girl who dead, lambs. The people that have been in prison, lambs to the slaughter. All of them mixed up in this industry. Except the drug dealers are the ones benefiting, really. I mean, providing they don't taste their own product. They're raking in money off the backs of these vulnerable, very vulnerable people who, the power of that thing, cocaine, Lord, once you taste a piece of it, you're hooked. And to get off it is a massive uphill climb. It's a massive, you have major support around you. The rehab, there's a waiting list 2 years to even get in there, right? So how do you survive 2 years before getting into that thing? I'm telling you, it's a racket. I don't know. I mean, some of them rather do the cocaine than smoke a cigarette. I'm like, are you mad? Take a cigarette. A cigarette. Do you know what I mean? Compared to that, I mean, it's no, don't do cigarette. But you're doing cocaine? Come on. I felt so bad for this girl, and to see how beautiful she was, and oh Lord, there needs to be a campaign to help stop young people falling prey to these drug dealers. That's what needs to happen. The sentencing, all that, yeah, but there needs to be some sort of campaign, some sort of stand, because they're going into the schools where the children are and getting the children hooked. And then from thereafter, well, the kid's got a mountain to climb, but the family is just going downhill. The burial grave is being dug, and everybody's falling into it, because you just become a victim of the whole thing. Whoever wants, because as you know someone, you're involved. What could I have done? What could I not have done? It's horrific. We have to give tribute, though. We have to give tribute. We have to go to commercial break, but we have to give tribute. Morgan Heritage, Peter, young man involved with the band, Peter Morgan, sadly passed last week. So I got to give tribute throughout the show. Pour I drink. Turn up.
I'll be down by the river, waiting for the good Lord to soul.